Death Day. Audiobook. Written and recorded by David Wright. The holo, like all the others, read Happy Death Day, and sported a rather goofy 3D picture of a whited skull with a big toothy grin. Zippy said it was modeled after the Day of the Dead skulls in Mexico, but what did she know? She was only 9 and wouldn't make it past 10. Tay-Sachs disease. Sad, really, if you think about it, but we never did. Come on, Crank, open mine. Pawn shoveled his holo in my face, laughing. The holo was laughing, not Pawn. Pawn was too intent on getting me to open it. Like Zippy, Pawn was another short-timer, except his shtick was Niemann-Pick. That was his joke, not mine. Okay already. I touched his laughing skull and watched the brains explode. Everybody laughed. Death Day was supposed to be serious, a chance to reflect on the time left and what you were going to do with it, or at least that was what my mother always said. But that was what you'd expect from a long-lifer. Mother had the genes of an oak tree and was expected to live to 99. It was different for her. When you knew that you were going to live that long, you needed to have a plan, or you'd go insane. You couldn't just fall in love with a cute guy. What if he dropped dead in a few years and you were left all alone? And then there was your career choice to consider. Imagine cutting grass or dumping garbage or cleaning toilets for 90 years. No, if you knew you were going to live that long, you needed to stay in school, go to college, get a good job, and actually do something with your life. But not us. There was no point. It didn't matter that my IQ was 220. My gene clock ran out at 14. That was the only number that mattered now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Me next. Tupip pushed in, her huge head dripping with sweat. It kind of grossed me out, but I reached for her card anyways. She was my friend, after all, and I didn't have time to be stupid about it. The holo skull started singing, Happy Death Day to you, and everybody joined in. When the song got to the end, the skull turned into a blue angel, filling the whole room with stars. It was spectacular, and obviously very expensive. Parents had a way of shelling out for things like that, especially near the end, and Tupip was definitely near the end. Thanks, Tupip, I said. It was hard to tell with all that sweat, but I think she was crying. She was counting in months now, not like the rest of us who still had a year or more. Mom came in with the cake and 3 candles, 1 less than last year. I gave them a blow, and 1 ember smoked longer than the rest. Everybody giggled, guessing who my sweetheart was. It was silly. I would never have a sweetheart. Not really. After the cake was passed around and everybody had as much as they wanted, there was no point in being stingy. Mom quieted everybody down. This was tradition as well. The speech thing. Usually it was long and boring. Lots of tears from the relatives who were all mid or long lifers. But today, Mom actually looked happy for a change. Karish, darling, I've got some good news. She took a deep breath, tears coming to her eyes, and yet, for some reason, she still looked happy. You qualified for the treatment. The doctors say it could modify the defect in your genes. Doctors said all sorts of things. It never really amounted to much. But this seemed different somehow. What do you mean? Well, darling, I don't really know, but they say you could be going home soon. Home? The word was alien to me. I had no memory of home. I'd always been here. What about my friends? I asked. Will they go home too? Mom looked confused. No, dear. They don't have the same genetic disease that you do. The new treatment is only for trisomy 18. My friends were all staring at me, Zippy, Pawn, Tupip. I wasn't sure they understood everything my mother was saying. They were younger than I was and didn't have a 220 IQ like I did. but they knew the word home. "You're leaving us?" Two-Pip said, and started to cry again. And soon we were all crying. It was clear that Mom hadn't counted on ruining the party like this. She tried to calm us down by saying it wouldn't be right away, not for a few months. We still had time to say goodbye. "I'm not saying goodbye," I screamed, "because I'm not leaving. I don't care about the treatment. I don't want it. I'm not leaving my friends. I'm not leaving." They let me stay in the hospital for 2 months, just until Two-Pip died, and then I had to go home. Zippy died a year later, and Pawn a year after that. By then, I was practically cured. Not a long lifer like Mom, but not a short-timer either. The doctors didn't know what I was. My genetic clock was undefined. I never celebrate death days anymore. They say I don't have one. Maybe in the end, it's better this way. The end. Thanks for listening to Death Day by David Wright. Don't forget to like and subscribe.